After more than 200 years establishing the Constitution, African Americans were finally recognized as citizens in 1992, following the enactment of the 14th Amendment as one of the diligent civil rights activists. James Meredith played a major role during the civil rights movement. He inspired many people to follow his footsteps, just like how he was inspired by JFK. James then started to fight for his right as an American citizen and a human being to achieve freedom for his brother and sisters.
James Meredith, a civil rights activist, is also a writer, a political advisor, and an Air Force veteran. He was born on July 25, 1933 in Kosciuszko, Mississippi. He is 84 years old and is still alive. James Meredith was raised on a farm. He has 9 siblings, and his parents are Roxy Meredith and Moses Meredith. As he was growing up, he experienced racism. One experience he had was during his train ride from Chicago. He was told to give up his seat and was forced to move to the back of the train with other African Americans. Meredith married Mary June Riggins in 1956, but unfortunately, Mary died in 1979 due to a heart failure. She was a high school English teacher. Meredith had 3 sons with Mary. A year after her death, Meredith married Judy also Brooks and had a son and a daughter. They now live in Jackson, Mississippi.
Meredith completed the 11th grade at Altala Country Training School, and he completed the 12th grade at Gibbs High School in St. Petersburg, Florida. He graduated from high school in 1951. After attending high school, James Meredith spent 9 years in Air Force. He served from 1951 to 1960. He then enrolled in Jackson State College, an all-black college, for 2 years.
When he applied to the University of Mississippi, he was accepted, then rejected twice due to his race. He filed a complaint to the courts but was also rejected by the district court. Luckily, the 5th Judicial Circuit Court ruled against the district court, explaining that the University of Mississippi was maintaining a policy of segregation. After finally getting accepted to go to the university, Meredith received threats from the state officials and students, which was followed by riots. About 160 marshals were wounded and 2 bystanders died. After going through many challenges, he became the first African American to attend to the University of Mississippi in 1962. He was harassed by many students during the first 2 semesters. Many incidents occurred throughout his time at the university, which included the white students ostracizing Meredith by bouncing basketballs directly onto his ceiling and outcasting him by refusing to sit with him in the same table during lunch. He graduated from the University of Mississippi in 1964 after 2 years of persistence and isolation. He later earned a law degree, which led him to become involved in politics. He wrote 3 Years in Mississippi, a book about his experience, which was published in 1966.
He continued his education at University of Alberta in Nigeria. Later, he returned to the United States to attend law school at Columbia University. In 1968, he earned LLB, which is a law degree. While he went on a solo march in Tennessee, he was shot by a white unemployed hardware clerk. The clerk was sentenced to 5 years in prison, but he only served 18 months. The march was known as the March Against Fear. It was a march from Memphis, Tennessee to Jackson, Mississippi to inspire voter registration by African Americans. When he was shot, the other civil rights leaders such as Martin Luther King, Story Carmichael, and many organizations continued to march. On June 26, the marchers, including James Meredith, reached Jackson, Mississippi. They were leading about 15,000 march during that time. More than 4,000 African Americans registered to vote.
You decided to do that on your own, as I
Years before Ole Miss.
Years before Ole Miss?
Oh, yes. I'd known for a long time that fear was the all-pervading force that kept white supremacy effective.
Why then did you decide to do it?
Well, the reason I was unarmed was because I had decided that it wasn't valid anymore. So I was going to prove to the people that they didn't have nothing to fear. Well, as it really turned out, except for a few bird shots, I mean, it worked out because the man that shot me wasn't from Mississippi. So that enabled the Mississippi authorities to send him to Parchman Prison, which everybody heard of. He was the first white man to ever go to Parchman Prison for shooting a black. Now, and a number of other things happened from that. The most important thing that happened from that was the sending of armed federal registrars into the South. And that's one of the best kept secrets in American history. Very few people know that.
After recovering from his injury, Meredith received a master's degree in economics. In 1967, Meredith tried to run for a seat in the U.S. House of Representatives. In 1972, he lost when he was running for a seat in the Senate. Even after losing many times, Meredith continued to stay active in political, serve as a Democrat advisor.